that now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and that way hopefully we'll end a little bit early and you guys will have an opportunity to get a few minutes back for your day. So First Nations launch Gateway kickoff meeting. For some of you, you've attended the kickoff meeting that we had earlier in the year for all the teams. There won't be significant changes, but there will be some slight differences between what you heard originally and what you will hear today. So just to meet the FNL team, the First Nations launch team, part of Wisconsin Space Grant, and I haven't fixed that yet, Connie, Foundation, it should read Consortium, and that would be Kevin Crosby, our director. He is not on the webinar, but he is definitely an integral part of what we do here. Myself, Christine Bowles, the assistant director, Connie Engberg, project support assistant, and then also included is Megan Goller, our accounts assistant. From First Nations launch, we have Frank Noble, our technical coordinator from Wisconsin Tripoli. Frank, go ahead and say hello to everybody. And then Mark Abatasaway, project assistant and our advisor liaison, and he is one of our alumni and also from Blue Origin. Mark, I don't believe you can jump on, can you? You can say
hear me?
hello, though.
Yeah, hey everyone. It's Mark Abatasaway. First, I'm Ojibwe First Nation from Manitoulin Island, Canada. Glad to be here and looking forward to supporting all the Gateway teams and advisors.
Great, thanks, Mark. And then from Tripoli, who you will have an opportunity to meet at Launch to Learn, possibly, and or at competition weekend would be Bob Justice, who is the Tripoli assistant from Illinois Tripoli, and then Kevin Harnick from Tripoli, Wisconsin. So our judges, just really like to go over this quickly. So for Gateway, we don't have judges for the Gateway challenge because you guys aren't being scored. This is really an opportunity for you to build a rocket as a team, get to know the process, and really expose students to a first-time build many a times. And so what we will have for Gateway is two individuals that will be reviewers. They will be reviewing some of the documents that you do turn in, and when you have virtual presentations, they'll be there just to give you a little bit of feedback. And they'll be hanging out with the Gateway teams during the competition weekend. And so folks, though, that will be a part of the program, we have Orson John, who is from NASA Goddard, James Wood from NASA Kennedy Space Center, Aaron Yazzie from NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Joan Connolly from NASA Glenn, Laura Denson from Jet Propulsion Laboratory. From the United States Air Force, we have Hidea Star Eagle, and from Raytheon, Genevieve Benally, Aaron Ashley, from Arcadis, Jennifer Bennett, and from Boeing, Sean Osserman. So Sean Osserman and Aaron Ashley are most likely going to be the two individuals that will be working with the Gateway Challenge. So Gateway, this to me has been the best thing, one of the best things that we've done in First Nations launch is create the Gateway Challenge, because it is just provides an opportunity for teams to come together and to build and to fly their rockets, and with a lot less of the work and not so daunting. So we have 10 teams. The 10 teams are Carthage College, College of Menominee Nation, College of Muskogee Nation, Fond du Lac Community College, Honolulu Community College, Lakota Ojibwe University, Leech Lake Tribal College, Nueto Hidatsa Saanich College, United Tribes Technical College, and University of Wisconsin-Madison. Now, significance, if it's a single asterisk, that means we consider you a first-time team, because you may have, sent in an NOI in the past, but you haven't made it to the launch pad yet. So we're considering anybody who's either the first time submitting an NOI or getting you to the launch pad, you have that single asterisk, and so we welcome you. We're so excited to have you. And then if it's a double asterisk, this is one of the changes that we made this year, and I think it's really going to help you to be more successful. For teams that started off in one challenge and said this just might be too tough for my team and we might not be able to do it, so instead of dropping out, we're allowing a little bit of movement through the end of January that teams can go to a different challenge if it suits them better so that they can be successful. And so we do have a few teams, and I wanted to show this just because I didn't want any team to feel like, man, we had to make a change. You are not alone. Multiple teams have had to make a change due to various reasons. And so we have 5 teams that have gone from the Moon Challenge down to the or down to the Gateway Challenge. And so we're just really glad that we have that ability to give you an opportunity to still compete. So Moon Challenge, we have 5 teams that will be competing. They are University of Colorado Boulder, Fort Lewis College, Northern Oklahoma College, Northwest Indian College, and Turtle Mountain Community College. And then we have 7 Mars Challenge teams, and that is UCLA, University of Washington, Seattle, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Northern Arizona University, University of Hawaii, Manoa, Oklahoma University, and University of North Carolina, Pembroke, along with our international team, Queen's University. So really excited to have everybody, 23 teams. It's amazing. And I am just so excited that we are able to just have everybody participate. And we'll be having all of you folks come into Kenosha, Wisconsin. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. Okay, what is supplied by Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium? So we will give each team $4,000, and that can be used for your project expenses or your travel expenses. Reimbursements will be issued through Carthage College, and the deadlines for those reimbursements are March 6th and May 8th. And there are additional travel funds, and it's listed a little bit later for those teams coming from Mountain, Eastern, Pacific, Atlantic, and Hawaiian time zones. We just know that right now that travel is extremely expensive, so we are trying to help offset that for some teams. Launch weekend, we will provide hotel accommodations and select meals. So each team receives 3 rooms for 3 nights per team, and it is at a competition hotel that we have booked a block of rooms. So we have a couple of different hotels that we are utilizing, and once we get to mid-February, we will begin assigning the teams. Once you provide your final lodging list to us, then we'll let you know what hotel you're staying in, as we try to make sure that we have enough rooms for everybody and everybody's good to go. So last day to secure lodging, and this is an important date, is February 27th. And that is the day that you will need to let us know your final roster, team roster. And then also we provide Friday breakfast, lunch, Saturday lunch and dinner, and teams can get breakfast Saturday morning at the hotel, I believe. Then we provide each team a low-powered rocket, which Connie's boxing them up, getting them ready to, actually, she just got back from the mailroom, so they just went out today. Your team will receive a low-power rocket, like an Estes rocket, so that you can do a demonstration flight. We ask you to record that and then send us the link to it. And for many teams, for many students, this is the first time they've ever seen a rocket go up. So that's one of the reasons why we make this a requirement. New teams will receive a launch pad for the Estes rocket, and then that flight demo deadline is January 23rd. Now, if, as Gateway teams, you're coming and your schools aren't going to be back in session because you have a J term or they don't start back till February, please let Connie know as soon as possible, and we can make some adjustments with your team specifically. Then if you're a new team, you will receive 2 rocketry reference books. They're great. They're old standards. We have them on our shelves here. And it's model rocket design and construction, along with modern high power rocketry too. We encourage you to keep those on the shelf so that as teams change, you still have them, but they will be a good resource for your students. We provide competition ejection charges, and then we also provide a rocket motor and motor casing. So we give you 1 reloadable motor of your choice and 1 motor casing per team. And that motor will need to be selected by February 27th 2023. So you're seeing a theme. February 27th is a date where there's going to be multiple things due. So then we have optional resources available by WSGC to teams. And that would be additional travel funds. I'm trying to see if anybody on this call, Honolulu, you are eligible for up to $1,500 additional travel funds if needed. And I think that is about it, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have another opportunity. It's called it's an outreach opportunity. So if you haven't already submitted it with your NOI, you'll need to do this immediately. And that is our Reach for the Stars. So what we're doing is we are providing up to 15 low power rockets, similar to the Estes, the rocket that we'll be sending to you. And each one of those are valued at $25, but we're working to give each team up to 15 of these low powered rockets so that you can do an outreach event in your community, whether it be, an outreach event on campus, or if it's, a K-12 event, just wanting to help you to be able to reach others that then they also either may become part of your team, because that could be part of the outreach. If you're struggling to have team members, use these rockets as an outreach event to recruit, or to just inspire a next generation so that maybe when they get to the college level, they would be wanting to participate in rocketry or STEM or something of the like. So additional non-FNL support. So for many of you, $4,000 is going to be way above and beyond enough money. For some of you, that isn't going to be enough money, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to make this happen? So a few ideas that few things that we want to kind of, just go over would be, please, 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 your $4,000 that you will be awarded. We are asking you, please spend that first. If we don't spend the money, then NASA isn't going to give me the money in the future to keep the program going. So please make it your goal to spend as much of that $4,000 that I give you. Please spend it. And then, so any additional support you get from your campus, from other organizations, make sure we ask that that does not replace the FNL funding that you receive, that will be above and beyond for things that you can't purchase with our funds. So ideas, you can request funding from your state space grant. So those of you, within Wisconsin, so that would be Madison and Le Coudray and College of Menominee Nation, they would come to me and say, hey, Christine, we have $4,000, but we need some additional funds. Would you be able to XYZ? So one year, College of Menominee Nation asked me for additional funds so that they could get a charter bus and bring the community members down so that they could have the buy-in by the families to support the students participating in the program. It could be for many other things though as well. You could ask your academic institutions, student groups, industry folks as well. Say you want to paint your rocket, that could be something that an industry member might be willing to donate to you as a team. So something to think about. Non-FNL additional funding can be used for travel to and from Kenosha, Wisconsin, for maybe your mentors, those EEE mentors, if they want to come along with you, or the NAR mentors, additional team members, a stipend for teams, for your TRA or NAR mentors, mobile tools for the rocket group. So thinking that maybe you'll have a toolbox, and in that toolbox, you're going to have a battery operated, hammer, Dremel, drill, screwdriver, maybe a scale, so that you guys have that equipment when you are at the launch field and needing to make adjustments to your rocket. That traveling toolbox that we just talked about, but also tools at your campus. Safety equipment, your PPE, Launch to Learn workshop at academic institutions. Say there's some of you that were like, okay, we can't necessarily come to the virtual, or we would like to have our whole team become certified, and we only allow, that 3 individuals. We're willing to get some extra funds to be able to do a Launch to Learn at our campus. And then we would work to send somebody out to facilitate that for you. Certification fees. So level 1 rocket, level 1, level 2, maybe you want to see more students and individuals on your team get their certification. Outreach events, and then team shirts, jackets. That would be another thing that you might want to get additional funding for. Launch weekend, April 28th through the 30th. What I would recommend is we start at 8 o'clock on Friday morning. It is an early day. It is late. We're jam-packed from early morning till late in the evening. So plan to arrive Thursday, April 27th. And then we encourage you, on Friday, we'll have a welcome breakfast, a competition kickoff. We work a little bit on the rockets. We have a motor build workshop. We're going to have breakout sessions. We're going to have final safety inspections, and then your teams will also give an oral presentation. Then Saturday morning, again, we start, and that will go till about 9 o'clock in the evening. So it's 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. with maybe a little bit of a break right around dinner time or before dinner time. And then Saturday again, launch area opens up at 7:30 in the morning. We kick off at 8 a.m. and then we launch rockets from about 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. And once that's concluded, we all go back to our hotels, get changed, get ready, and we have a closing banquet at 6 p.m. and that usually goes till about 9 p.m. So that's all fine and dandy unless we have a rain date. And I know, Gary, you run a rocket competition as well, and you've had a couple of rain dates and you're shuffling and changing, and we've had one snow day where it was snow where we've had to make some changes. It is possible we'll have to make an adjustment. So if you're making arrangements to fly away home, we either strongly suggest you get a late Sunday flight out, or you leave Monday morning, so that if we have to change it over to Sunday, that you have plenty of time to get your rocket launched, etc. So this is just a quick timetable. Today is January 3rd. Things that, this is the first month, and you'll get accustomed to the calendar and where to look for it. But next week, grant management, I'll be hosting a webinar on how do you manage this grant? What do you have to do? What do you have to submit? Documentation, where do you put, upload things? Just to help you out a little bit, and depending on how you choose to do your reimbursement. If you are doing Launch to Learn, we'll have the kit reveal on the 12th, along with the workshop on the 20th and the 21st. Your award acceptance material, that date might slip just a little bit because I didn't get out the award letters last night. So you might get a couple extra days there. And then we'll have an avionics and altimeter webinar. Now, the webinars are great resources. If you haven't been following along, last semester, we do put those up on the website, all of the PowerPoints, and for your resources so that you can watch them and hopefully glean from them. Some of them have been about design reports, which you guys won't necessarily need, but structures and rock sim and project management. So some great resources for you. And then the biggest thing will be for you guys is on January 30th, on January 23rd. So this is kind of a quick turnaround, but that first fly sheet's going to be due, and Mark will go over that in a little bit. So we'll have a fly sheet due on January 23rd, and then January 30th through this February 2nd, we'll begin our virtual presentations. And that's when your team's going to come together and they're going to talk about their rocket and the kit that they've chosen. And Mark, I can't remember if Mark or Frank is going to go over the kit choices, etc. So, and then again, the calendar is on our website, so you can go over things, but it's just a brief overview so you can see quickly what's happening. Key changes for this year is that we've added some additional webinars. So the mentor, the rock sim, design reports, project management, grant management, structures, challenge design, avionics, recovery. Recovery is probably a really good one. Avionics, launch ops. Those are all things that you guys are going to want to try to get on your calendar and have it, and you guys can attend as advisors, but if you have your team lead or students, please make sure they get that information so that they can attend. And it's typically every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. The additional funding, new handbook appendices. So the FNL handbook will have appendices that provide additional support and guidance, and just about any question that you can ask is going to be in the competition handbook. The Triple E or NAR mentor is a requirement. It is not an option, and that does not mean Frank, and that does not mean Mark. That means somebody else in the field that can assist you through your build process. And if you don't have somebody, we're here to help you find that individual. And then submitting RockSim with your fly sheet and a reimbursement process, which we'll go over. We do have new training videos on the website. There's a series of 6, which also is another great resource for your teams. They were professionally done. They're really, really good. And then we have a few new awards, which would be the top advisor, the top team lead, and then a rookie team award. And so those will be some of the awards. So for Gateway, I'll go over that. I'm sorry, I'll go over that a little bit. A new requirement, this is just fresh, hot off the presses, is that you will need to have at least one member on your team needs to have a TRA or NAR membership requirement in order to be able to go to the launch pad. So if individuals do not have a membership, they will not be able to go out to the launch pad. So that's something that we're going to work with you. I think Mark's going to be working with you to ensure that typically we recommend 3 people go to the launch pad. We're going to encourage you to have 3 people on your team that have that membership. If they're participating in Launch to Learn, membership will be an automatic part of that. So I'm not going to go over this real in deep detail, but just making sure that every team has a COVID-19 safety plan, just in case something happens and we need to make any adjustments or changes, that you're prepared if we have to, so that you would have a local launch site, you have your local mentor, and you have your local TRA or NAR prefecture in case that is needed. We don't foresee that, but we're asking you to still have a plan. And so always making sure that you know what the protocol is, either at the launch site here at Carthage College, or if we have to do any kind of hybrid. And then I think the COVID-19 safety plans have really helped us all out post-COVID, in that utilizing teams and in team members in making assignments so that everybody's responsible for things, having weekly meetings, and that they can be virtual. Sometimes an online lab or logbook will assist, and especially if you can't get into a lab for some reason and work on the rocket. All right, I'm going to pass this off.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Frank Noble here. The Gateway design objectives. Teams are required to design and construct a dual deploy high power rocket from the following list. It's a Mad Cow 4-inch diameter Super DX3 kit, or a Mad Cow 4-inch diameter fiberglass Super DX kit. The first one I mentioned is going to be a cardboard phenolic one, and the second one's going to be a fiberglass kit. The team shall select one of the rockets listed in the handbook. Also, the team shall select one of the motors listed in the handbook. Keep in mind that the rocket shall only reach an altitude of 2,500 feet AGL, which is actual ground level. The team rocket should satisfy all other requirements as outlined in this handbook. The team does not need to write reports, but are required to submit a fly sheet at PDR, CDR, and the FRR reports. Next. This is going to be the Gateway flight profile. As you can see, the top altitude is 2,500 feet. We have a liftoff at one of the finest pads you're going to be using on a 1010 rail button system. You have a power ascent, the coast ascent after burnout, and your rocket should reach approximately 2,500 feet. At that time, your altimeters shall be used primarily for ejection to deploy your drogue parachute at apogee. And of course, we have a motor backup ejection also that we're using at this point also. As the rocket descends, on the main parachute should be deployed no less than 300 feet. And of course, we have a touchdown, and you should have some kind of tracking device on your vehicle also to find it, either audible or a RF or a GPS system. Safe flight must be achieved. The launch must be safe, it must be a stable flight, and a vertical flight during ascent. Recovery systems must be successfully deployed. That means the drogue comes out and the main comes out without any kind of anomalies of tangled shrouds or the recovery strap. Rocket must be recovered in a flyable condition. All teams must follow the requirements of the competition handbook, and following is a subset of those requirements. All projects during the construction process must have a minimum of one scheduled virtual inspection with a designated safety officer to be announced. It's probably going to be me, Mark, or Bob Justice. All projects must be 90% constructed and ready to fly 2 weeks prior to the launch date. 90% means the airframe, the motor mount, fins, payload, airframe, couplers, bulkheads should be permanently attached and ready to fly. All projects must be designed to enable the motor deployment charge as a backup recovery system at apogee. That means whatever your design of your rocket is, do not alter the system that allows the motor ejection to happen. All final competition projects must have a documented flight stable RockSim simulation profile. Photographs are required during the construction of the motor mount and fin fillet assembly process to ensure proper construction techniques have been adhered. All projects must have an aerodynamic design, no odd rockets, no flying pyramids, saucers, or spools. I don't think you're going to make that out of the kit you're going to get. Hopefully not. The center of pressure, CP, and the center of gravity, the CG, must be indicated on the rocket. Also, a good point is to indicate your possibly a telephone number on your rocket too, in the coupler part of the rocket. So if someone else finds your rocket, they know whose it is. Competition criteria summary. Quality and timely competition of the program milestone. See the program milestone section in the handbook. Success of competition flight. Recorded altitude and competition flight. Recorded pre-flight mass in rocket airframe, excluding electronics, parachute recovery equipment, motors, and miscellaneous hardware components. And the dimensions, of course, of the rocket. Mark?
Yeah, hey guys. So continuing the requirement overview, the gateway teams are required to submit 3 fly sheets, which we'll cover here, which we'll cover a little bit more in the next slide. You'll also be able to be required to do 2 virtual presentations. It says with judges, but it's with reviewers. It's with myself, Frank, and the 2 professionals that were mentioned earlier. And then you'll also have 1 presentation at launch weekend, just prior to launch day on the Friday. And then you're also to have the flight and payload performance. So we will observe your flight on launch day, and you're just have a successful flight and be able to record and turn in flight data using your altimeter for your altitude that your rocket flew. Again, from your altimeters, electronics on your rocket. So make sure to research those and purchase those, and make sure you know how to work those prior to competition weekend. And then you're also required, it's optional to do an outreach effort. And Christine had mentioned Reach for the Stars, so as one of the outreach efforts. If you need more ideas, I can work with you as well. Next. Did we lose the flash sheet? There was, there it is. Okay, we'll get to the fly sheet eventually. Next, so challenge criteria, challenge change. So just to let you know, the challenges do build off each other. So many of the teams now in Gateway, if this is your first time in Gateway, we kind of expect you to and your team to move on and progress to the next challenge, which would be the Moon Challenge in following years. And then usually the Mars Challenge is kind of the veteran teams who've been around for a while. The four-year colleges, the teams who are a little more experienced with rocketry and engineering and facilities and capability.
And then, Mark, I'm going to add in too something new for those that have been around a while. This is the first year, like the building upon is all three the Gateway, Moon, and Mars. They all work together so that if a team goes, you know what, this is so easy, we can move up to the next challenge, or this is so way too hard, we can't do it. They don't have to drop out because it's completely different challenge. They can easily move back and forth between the challenges because they're similar enough that we can make those adjustments. So just wanted to point that out as well.
Yeah, excellent points. Yeah, so this year we made the challenges very similar to each other. It's very easy to transition between the challenges. For this year, the challenge is based on the structure. So for Mars, they're doing a lot of structural building and design and testing. For Gateway, your challenge or your concepts are basically working with phenolic as a material or working with fiberglass as a material. And the Moon is kind of intermediate. There's some of each component in the Moon challenges. The FNL website now has a video series. There's a link there. I don't know if we're going to go to that or share that in the chat. Are you sharing that, Chris, or are we just going on? There we go. Oh, page not found.
I'll get it in the chat.
Okay, so yeah, there's an instructional video series. It's kind of similar to our webinars. Kind of gives you an overview of rocketry and electronics involved and recovery and structures and what to expect on a launch weekend. So again, for this year, only one competition motor is provided per team, and this is in comparison or contrast to previous years where we had two competition motors. So this year we're only going to have one. And then the new awards we mentioned: top advisor, top team lead, and rookie team. So Gateway is eligible for those awards as well. And then reach for the stars, which we mentioned earlier. Next. So fly sheets, teams are required to submit a fly sheet at the first 3 cycles. So the Moon and the Mars also submit fly sheets. So it's kind of something, it's kind of an intro for Gateway. And then once you get the hang of the fly sheets, it's one step to progress to Moon and Mars and start writing reports based on that fly sheet. So for Gateway though, it's basically just the fly sheets that you're submitting at the milestones, PDR, CDR, and FR. So the dates can be found in the calendar. And the template for the fly sheet can also be found on the FNL website under report templates. And there's the link itself for the report templates. I think Christine's uploading the links for the kits for the simulations or where to purchase the kits. So the fly sheet is a summary of the technical specs of your rocket and payload. Filling out the fly sheet. So you'll fill out the non-grayed out cells at each cycle. Basically, all the information on the fly sheet comes from your simulations. So one thing I don't think we mentioned to this point is all the teams have to have RockSim. So purchase, procure, borrow, beg, download free trials, do whatever you need to do. Everyone on your team should be using RockSim, running RockSim, understanding how RockSim works. And that's basically how you design your rocket and you simulate its performance. So at each of the milestones, you'll fill out the fly sheet with whatever your simulation reads at that point, and then we'll give you feedback based on if we think your simulations are correct. Next. This is an example of the fly sheet here. So this one's kind of showing out the grayed out areas. Like if you go on the website again and you download the fly sheets, you'll see it has different tabs along the bottom for proposal, PDR, CDR. So make sure you're filling out the right one. PDR will have different grayed out cells than CDR. By FRR, you should be able to fill out all of the knowledge. So it's a progressive fly sheet. I think every 6 weeks, you're learning a little bit more. You're trying to understand a little bit more about your vehicle performance in the simulations. So fill out those cells, the proper cells for each. And I think this one's for proposal. There wasn't much required for proposals. And then we'll give you feedback a week later. Or we can also discuss it during your virtual presentations the following week after you submit your fly sheets. Next. Virtual design reviews. So we mentioned the 2 design reviews. Basically, you're summarizing the data in your fly sheet and you're presenting a PowerPoint to us. There's a PowerPoint template again on the website. So there's the link to the template. So just fill out the template. I believe it's 9 or 10 slides. You'll have 20 minutes to present. We want every member of your team to participate. So everybody should be, presenting a slide or sharing some information about what they worked on, what they contributed to for the team. So the team will present the report, and then you'll get feedback or questions from your reviewers, who is myself, Frank Noble, and the 2 professionals from industry. And then you'll be given a time slot based on the judge's schedule. I think, how are you doing this, Connie? You guys are doing a poll or something for the time slots, Connie or Christine? So we'll get back to you on that. I don't understand. I don't create the poll for the time slots. I believe Christine or Connie do that.
Yeah, Connie will send out an email and give you an opportunity to sign up for like 3 different time slots that works best for your school. We try to honor that if we can, but ultimately it comes down to those individuals that are going to be on those watching your presentation. So it'll be our 2 reviewers, and then Mark and Frank, and our team as well. So, okay.
And then the virtual reviews, it's basically just a Zoom call, just as the one we're on. We'll pass you the ball. You'll be sharing your presentation and clicking through your own slides for us. And then you'll also need to be on video, so be prepared for the team to present. We want to see the participants and the team members on camera as well. Next. Flight readiness review. So this is, I believe this is the launch weekend presentation. So it's similar to your 2 virtual reviews, except this one's in person. It takes place on the launch weekend. Similar PowerPoint template is provided on the website. So the same link as the previous slide. You'll find your competition weekend PowerPoint template. Same thing, 9-10 slides. And then the team presents over 15 minutes this time. So you need to be a little bit more concise, a little bit more practiced and rehearsed. And that's kind of the point of the 2 virtuals, is kind of get you the habit of presenting the data, the technical data, becoming familiar with it. Hopefully by launch weekend, your team is familiar with what you're presenting to us and be able to present in a shorter amount of time. And then again, the judges, who are your reviewers, myself, Frank, and the 2 professionals, will be giving you questions following your presentation.
So I alluded to it a little bit earlier. It was the competition award prizes. So as part of the Gateway Challenge, you will be eligible for almost all of the prizes except a few. And so the ones that you will not be eligible for would be that grand prize award, 2nd place or 3rd place, because we're not judging your reports and the flight, etc. What you are eligible for is everything else. And so that would be the aesthetic word. So how well is your rocket design, and what's the presentation? How is it painted, and what does that exterior look like? Your team spirit award, the team chosen by their peers, is the team that shows that interactive spirit. You're out there helping, you're cooperating, you're cheering others on. Altitude award. So one of the things that you will do is you will guess what your altitude will be, and you will submit that information, and then we will compare what your actual apogee is, how high that your rocket gets to, and compare it. And the team that is the closest I think you do percentage, if I'm not mistaken, Mark, that has the closest percentage to what they actually estimated receives an award for that. We have a judge's award. So, you know, are you meeting the goals of the program, and is it hard work and determination? And we'll give a prize out for that. The Next Step Award, the one that you may be eligible for would be the Rock On. So that is at Wallops Flight Facility, and that helps teams learn how to build a payload. And that's for a suborbital rocket, and really cool program. And so we always pick one team to participate in that each year. Outreach Award. So we look at all those teams that have conducted an outreach, and we will select one team to receive a $500 award that they can utilize for the following, you know, for continued outreach programs at their school. We have a patch design, which is coming up, and the winning the winning application submission will receive $100, and their patch will be framed, and then every student will receive that patch for this year's competition. Team advisors, each advisor receives $1,000. If you are co-advising a team, then that $1,000 is split between the two of you. $500 is for your work on campus, and $500 is for the coming and traveling to the competition. And then we have a top advisor for, so, you know, just the advisor that we're seeing, or a co-advisor that equips, encourages, empowers their team to compete with confidence and capabilities and leads them to the next step opportunities. A top team lead, so who is the team lead that's fulfilling their role with excellence and making sure that they're disseminating information and getting their team to submit their reports on time and just, you know, well put together, or their fly sheets. So we're looking at that top team lead, and then of course the rookie team. So what new team has completed all phases of the competition and done it with determination and perseverance? We've got some pretty cool prizes. Each team is recommended to be 4 to 6 team members. That doesn't mean you can't have more or you can't have less. That's just the sweet spot, 4 to 6 team members. You have an advisor. We encourage you to have meetings and telecons for assistance, and really maintain that student-driven project. It gets really tempting sometimes to kind of swoop in and do things because the team isn't, or your numbers have flexed, and you're just thinking, oh, are we going to be able to make it or submit it? But really, this is a student-driven project, and it's one of the reasons why we created the Gateway Challenge. If you're a new school or a new advisor, we can pair you up with a veteran advisor, and then know that you have additional support from Mark. He is there to help you and guide you each step of the way as an advisor, and he can answer any questions for you. Team leads can also, you know, come to the meetings, come to the telecons, come to the webinars, and ask for assistance. And then the team lead responsibility is to communicate and with the team and submit the documents. So sometimes getting students involved can be tough, can be challenging. So a couple of ideas of how you can get folks to participate: coordinate 5 to 10 minute presentations in the classroom at club meetings, hold a virtual recruiting event. So, you know, again, Zoom, we're all getting used to it. Sometimes we're tired of it, but it could be an effective way. Invite FNL alumni, either from your institution or from another returning team, to come and talk about their experience on FNL. And we can coordinate that and help find individuals. We've got some folks that just really, you know, say hurrahs and cheers for what they have received from that. And as I pointed out, we have alumni that have come back to work with the program. Reach out to other faculty for assistance, share recruiting emails, tap into new applicant pools, use Launch to Learn. We don't have him on here, but I know that Steve Singletary from University of North Carolina, Pembroke, Launch to Learn workshop, that level 1 certification, was exactly what he was able to use to light a fire at his campus. And that has been just a great tool in the toolbox. And then if you have other ideas, feel free to add them into the, oh, I'm going way too fast, in the chat. training videos. Right, I did do that. I must have moved some pages. Training videos, we talked about that earlier. I've already put the link in the chat. They are on there's an overview, so you kind of get an idea of what's expected or what takes place here on campus or here in Kenosha. Avionics, recovery systems, rocket assembly, rock sim, and then the range and motor safety. So they're great videos. It took us almost 2 years to put those together, but we're really excited about having those available for you. And then that Launch to Learn workshop. So it's that 1 to 2 day rocket build, level 1 certification in either TRA or NAR. If you are a current NAR or TRA member, you are not eligible to participate in it, in the program. This is only for new individuals. And then we have on here the virtual workshop request was due December 16th. If you or a team member is still interested, and we recommend 3 per team. So if you have a team and you didn't submit anybody and you still think, oh, I totally forgot and I need to, put it in the chat right now and say, hey, Connie, I still would like to send a student. We have, I think, 5 more slots left. So we could accept a couple more if we get that request right now, basically. And then that will be the 20th and 21st. And we cover everything. We send out all the materials, all the supplies. And if you're doing a local launch to get certified and working with the TRA member, we pay for the travel cost to get to the launch site. And Connie, can you put that link into the chat, please, to get to the L to L? And then we talked about Reach for the Stars, and each team conducts a Reach for the Stars outreach event for 15 students. That's ages 10 to 18. And then that puts those participants eligible for a national celebration at U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Again, there is a link. Connie will put that in the chat. And then if you are interested in participating in this opportunity, please put something in the chat, and so we can follow up with you. Team scheduling, create a project schedule early on, Gantt chart, style spreadsheets, whatever works for your school. Schedule, if you can schedule, it will assist with having a safe and successful flight, because that's what we see. Students put off, and then they come here and then they don't have a successful flight. So please, please, please make sure you have a schedule, and so you can meet all the deadlines, because your rocket should be ready, 90% ready to fly 2 weeks before you come to campus, so that when we have our virtual safety meetings with you, we know that you're almost good to go, because we'll only have about 2 to 3 hours on campus to finalize any builds before launch weekend. So, and then also in your deadline or your timeline, don't forget, think about purchases, what you have to buy. So you have 2 kits that you're going to be choosing from. Of those 2 kits, you want to make sure that you have plenty of time to get the kit in, to build it, and all of the materials that you will need. Competition weekend, I went over this a little bit. One of the things that we're looking for, if you're a returning team, this is maybe right up your alley because you've been there, you know what's happening. If it's not, maybe a new team would like to do this. We are looking for one institution to host our icebreaker event at the Welcome Breakfast. In 2019, it was College of Menominee Nation. In 2022, it was University of Hawaii at Manoa. So Hawaii at Manoa, they taught us how to do tahula. That was something that they brought, and we had a lot of fun. And in 2019, they brought a game for us to participate in, and one of their members actually gave a brief talk. So that was excellent, and we loved it. But we would, if it's something that you might be interested in, please reach out to me, because I am looking for the university that would be willing to do that. Special guests. So Brett Manali, his wonderful face is on, and he's going to wave hi. He is our ACES tribal elder, and he will be with us. He has been with us for several years. This is the first time he's going to, fingers crossed, bring a team. But he always kicks off our welcome, and he is, I'm right there with you, Brett. And anyway, so he'll be with us. Captain Hidea Star Eagle from the U.S. Space Force. She is our guest speaker at the banquet. And then, of course, we'll have professionals leading our breakout sessions. And I named just a few of them. And I always like to say, we have some unbelievable people who have been, there's individuals who are pressing that button that's making every launch go off at Kennedy Space Center. We have individuals that are working with, all of the rovers on Mars and have been on Nova. So we've got some great individuals that are working in industry. So you guys have a rock star group that's here to support you. The workshop, the rocket workshop on competition weekend, we want you 99% ready to fly when you arrive in Kenosha. So that it's just minor fixes, and it's only going to be a half-day workshop. So that's important to know, especially for those of you who have been with us before. We're going to have breakout sessions, so kind of gear that up for your students. So we know, yes, Hidea, correct, Brett. And then so that on the breakout sessions, have your students ready. We're going to have some great topics, some great speakers, and they're going to be able to break out for, probably a 30-minute, 45-minute session and learn something new. So just really looking forward to hosting that aspect. Then before we start our oral presentations in the evening, we will have a rocket fair where your team will have their rockets out on a table. We'll have guests coming in, seeing your rockets and seeing all the hard work that you've done, and your teams will be able to see the other rockets. And we're just going to be able to share the successes of the year. And it was a big success last year it was the first time that we implemented the rocket fair. So the website, there are tools and tips. We have a calendar, FAQ. So, what do we wear when we come? What do we need? Where do we fly into? Those kind of questions are all going to be on there. Application process, reports, scoring, webinars, contests, all the information is there for you. And again, just kind of going back over that same information, that as you get your award letters, you're going to find that you need media release and team bios and team roster and lodging forms. All of that information is going to be available on the tools and tips page. Mark?
Just more and more info.
I know.
Non-stop info. Hopefully you're keeping up, everyone. So part of my role is a project assistant advisor liaison. So I review the reports and make sure the students get to the launch pad, but also just providing support to the advisors. As an alumni, I competed in the second and third annual FNL a number of years ago. So I'm familiar with what it's like to be a student on the student side, and then also just being a professional engineer now at Blue Origin. So helping the students get to where they want to be. So I can help you with your technical support or non-technical, such as project management. I can help you with your retention and recruiting. So if you need ideas to how to get students or keep students on the team, please reach out. Advisor mentorship, again, I've been helping and work with a lot of the advisors, veteran ones and the new ones. So especially the new ones, I'm here for you. We can pair you up with a previous advisor for support if you would like. Outreach efforts, again, just being with the program for a number of years, I can help give you ideas for outreach and then share what maybe some of the other teams have done for outreach as well for the advisors. And then next step opportunities, and this is more for, I think, the experienced teams who are looking to move on to other challenges, other ideas for their school and their teams. So I've been participant as well in the NASA student launch, which takes place in Huntsville, Alabama. I was a mentor at the Spaceport America Cup, which is a similar an international rocket competition, takes place in New Mexico. And then Rock On, which is the payload challenge that takes place on a Wallops. So if you have questions about those, or if you're not there yet or looking to get there, let me know. I can help you point you in the right direction. And I will be reaching, I think it's on the next slide, actually. There we go. So I'll be reaching out to the teams who don't have mentors or who may need to find a mentor. I know some of the teams are returning teams and you guys already have a mentor. And I assume the mentors are going to stay the same, but this is more for the new teams. So I'll kind of reach out and point you in the right direction and make those connections for you. So you have a AAA or NAR mentor, and it's a requirement for FNL. What can I say about mentors? Check out the mentor webinar on the tools and tips page. Give you an idea of you'll get to hear from existing mentors, existing students, and existing advisors, how the mentors kind of made their teams better and improved their success rate. So mentors just make everyone's lives easier. So that's kind of why from day one you should be searching for your mentor. It just makes things so much easier going forward. And then you could also do local launches once you have a AAA or NAR mentor. It's usually a local person who can come to your school and help you with your build, or help you with your design, help review your rock sims, or help get you on the local launch pad. Next. And I don't know, is this me? So yeah, we talked about, I think we mentioned a little earlier that each team has to have a NAR or AAA member. So this is not a mentor. This is kind of just someone on the team also has to be a member. I will be working with the teams to make sure the advisors or someone attending the launch weekend is a member to be able to go and put your rocket on the launch pad.
Whew, we're going long, so I'm going to go quick. There's two options for reimbursement, and it'll be in your award letters. You can either submit through your university or college, or you can submit as individuals, and that may depend on your university, but you have a choice between the two. We accept both ways, and we'll work with you. If it's through your university or college, it's a quarterly invoice by the institution. Otherwise, it is individuals. It would be March 6th and May 8th, and that'll be a part of the grant management webinar. And again, we'll make all of the reimbursement information a part of that grant management webinar. The forms are all on our tools and tips page. And currently the mileage rate, just so you know, is 0.625 mileage, and that information is sent to Megan Goller. Connie's going to put that in the chat for you. Patch contest, please, please, please watch. We want your students to be able to participate in this. It is for FNL participants. Individuals or groups can submit, and all the information is up on the website. There is a link. Connie will add that in as well. The submissions, the designs are due February 20th. Sometimes I ask for some adjustments, like, okay, can you change this or do this? But the last 3 years, you can see we've had some great designs by our students, and did a marvelous job. So IMFNL, we encourage teams, please take pictures, create videos, send them to us, share them with us so that we can share that out with NASA as well, and just continue telling the story of how FNL is impacting individuals and campuses and the like. And then also trying to utilize your pictures for our launch weekend as well. And that is it. Whew, 5 o'clock. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Frank Noble here. It's very important that if you want someone to come up to the pads, work with the rockets, work with your team, make sure you have a up-to-date membership with TRA or with NAR. You will be wearing a special coded something on your shirt or on your name tag to indicate that you are a current and outstanding member of NAR or TRA. So make sure we accomplish that.
Thanks, Frank. And if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to assist you in figuring out what that means and what it takes.
You're still accepting questions?
Sure.
Helen Raposa from Han CC. By the way, thank you very much. I finally got my reimbursement, came in about a couple of weeks ago from my October trip. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but my question kind of has to do with that too. So for the travel, so we need to stay there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's what you'll be covering.
So yes, we cover Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night.
Okay.
Yes.
So the thing is, we might have to stay Sunday night because flights between Milwaukee and Honolulu, they don't. We have to leave Monday morning. So
Sure.
yeah, we would make arrangements. So be aware about that from us. Okay.
Yep. And you'll work with Connie and she'll go over all of those details
Yeah.
a little bit later as she's sending those out.
Okay. The other thing is you mentioned there'll be 2 different hotels that'll be used for this event.
Yes.
Would it be possible for our team to be in one hotel versus?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, we don't split up any teams. We keep the teams together. We
Thank you.
actually try to keep the challenges together. So,
Okay.
and that really is what it comes down to, is how many team members there are on each team with each challenge, so that
Yeah.
we can get everybody situated in the various hotels with the blocks that we have.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think somebody else had asked about Brent had asked about the 4K and the whole hotel accommodation, which you answered. So the $4,000 that you give us doesn't go towards the hotel.
So $4,000 is for your project.
Yeah.
It is for travel. In
Okay.
addition to the 4,000, you
Yeah.
receive 3 nights
Uh-huh.
and 3 rooms
All right.
at the hotel. If you need to go above and beyond 3 nights and 3,
Yeah.
then those additional expenses you will be required to
Yeah.
cover.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
And-
most of the meals, all of those meals that I talked about, we cover as well.
Okay. Yeah. The other question I had is the rain date.
Yes.
If we do happen, what time of the day does that run? You know,
Same time as the day before, 8
Okay.
a.m. till 3 p.m. So
Ah,
you would, we would try to get you, I am correct, right, Frank? Yes. And we would try, like, Hawaii, you have a flight out at later in the day or something. I'm just going to give you as an example. It might not be the truth, but
yeah.
let's say you have a 3 o'clock flight going out on Sunday. We
Yeah.
would do everything we could to have you fly early Sunday, put you out there first, versus another team that maybe already made plans to stay,
Yeah.
or like College of Menominee Nation, which is just going 3 hours north to, in Wisconsin. It might be easier for them to go a little bit later in the day.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
And the final question I have, you may mention on the Saturday, there's a fair that each teams will present their rockets for other teams and judges to look at, right?
That's on Friday. So that's
On Friday,
Friday
on Friday,
schedule.
yeah,
Yep.
okay, okay,
So that
so,
will be, you'll have in the morning, you have welcome breakfast,
yeah,
welcome. Then you'll have, after that, we will go to rocket workshop and motor builds, getting all
Okay.
the motors ready. From there, we'll have lunch and breakout sessions. Then you'll
Okay.
have about a 2-hour break, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't finalized the details. And when you come back, we'll have the rocket fair, and then we have I don't know what kind of food. We have some kind of food available.
Okay.
Connie arranges all of that. And
Okay.
then we'll start the oral presentations.
Okay, so, I guess, do we need to make a poster or something for
Nope.
our display?
Nope, you're just bringing your rocket and showcasing your rocket.
Okay, well, it wouldn't hurt if we did, though.
It wouldn't hurt. I mean, you
Yeah.
can do it. Sure.
Okay, just wondering,
Yeah.
that's all, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
You are welcome. Any other questions?
I do. I have a question. Marshall Smith, United Tribes Technical College. I don't know if any of my other teammates are here on the call with me, but super simple questions. So this Zoom meeting, will this recording be available for everybody? I know I took some notes down, but I would like to share this video with the rest of my teammates and our advisor. Is that
I'm going to
possible?
work really hard to make sure we get this up on the website.
All right, perfect. And then secondly, since there has been issues with flights and stuff like that, I'm guessing, I don't know if that's just because of the holidays and the weird weather, but as far as those of us that can drive, because since we live here in North Dakota, Wisconsin's not that far, we can just drive there. Are you So are you guys suggesting if you're living close, drive instead of fly just because of what's going on with the airlines and stuff?
I am not suggesting anything. I think that's a decision that you would make
Yeah.
as a team, but you are more than welcome to drive. It can be, I mean, you know, it's a long drive. I know folks from Oklahoma, last year they drove in. We've had folks from Montana drive in before, just because of, you know, costs and what it, you know, and making sure they could get here and things like that. So that really is up to your team, but you are welcome to drive.
Okay, and then sorry about this. Look, this is my first time doing this competition.
No,
I think this is like our second or third as a school.
yeah.
Dress is the dress for presenting stuff like that gonna be very like casual, business casual, semi-formal? What's going on?
Sure, great questions. That will be under FAQ if I'm not mistaken. If it isn't, I'll make sure that we get it up there. But so welcome breakfast, and when you're, you know, I'd say Friday is casual for up until the 3 o'clock. When you come back from the break, we have folks that are in their ribbon skirts, you know, and then there's others that come in business professional. I would say for Friday evening and Saturday evening, that would be when you will want to be a little bit more professional for the banquet and for your oral presentations and the rocket fair. And then when you're out at the launch site, it is typically tick season around here, and it can be cold. It could be snowing. It could be raining. It could be sunny and almost 70. So,
Just like up you.
you know, make sure that you wear closed-toed shoes, wear pants, wear layers. So each of you will receive, at least the plan is right now, each of you will receive an FNL t-shirt. So then I would suggest bring a shirt to go over that, and then bring a jacket to go over that. And, you know, make sure that you have those layers, sunscreen, hat, all of those things. We are in a marshy area. It is a Department of Natural Resources. It is a state park. So that's where the launch site is located at. Did that help?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Any other questions? All right then, everybody have a grand evening. Hopefully we got everybody's questions in the chat answered. And if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help you, support you, and see you get to the launch site. There are 2 rocket kits, and I don't know which one I have on here. Can you guys see the rocket kit that I'm putting up? Okay, hold on one second. Let me just do a new share here real quick. And we're going to do screen 1. Do want you to be aware, we put these in the launch in the chat, but this is the 4-inch Super DX3 as one of the rockets that you can choose from. And the second one, and we're really making this, trying to make this easy for you, would be the 4-inch fiberglass Super DX3. And so those are your 2 choices for rocket kits that you can utilize in the Gateway Challenge. At this point, there are no other questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.